I mean, there are three things I could highlight, right? The first one is how pandemics, like all big crises, are relationship accelerators. And they basically highlight that life is fragile, that it could be short, and time is of the essence. And so you just say, what am I waiting for? And the what am I waiting for can be, let's move in together, let's have a kid, let's live life together. Or it can be, what am I waiting for? I'm out of here. This is enough. It's been way too long as it is. So that's the first thing, is that you get to see all the cracks in the relationship, but you also get to see the light that shines through the cracks. The second thing, I think, of the pandemic on the relationship is that we have put all our energies towards our security and safety needs for a long time. And we had to push aside the spontaneity, improvisation, serendipity, curiosity, happenstance, improvisation, the whole side of the exploratory needs, the adventuresome needs that we also have. And that needs to come back at this moment in our relationship, is how do we straddle again commitment and freedom, security and adventure, love and desire? How do we bring back that erotic energy into our relationship, that sense of aliveness, not just that sense of we are surviving, we're making it?
Now, Esther, every generation has its own definition of what a relationship or what a marriage looks like, from monogamy right through to polyamorous partnerships. What do you think has been the biggest shift in views about relationships since you started couples counseling?
Right. I mean, I'm going to answer you, but I'm also going to tell you that I'm very, very curious to ask this very question to the Australian audience and to see how the people will answer that question according to cultural, religious, and racial backgrounds and according to generation. So I have thoughts, but I like those complicated questions to be answered collectively rather than by the so-called expert. I think that the biggest shifts is this. Your grandparents, maybe even your parents, probably had a rather pragmatic view of marriage. Marriage was to make family, to have economic support, companionship, to have social status, to have succession and all of that. And then comes your generation or my generation, and we want intimacy, we want belonging, we want affection, we want sexuality that is rooted in desire and not just in duty. And then comes our kids' generation, my kids' generation, the younger people that you're talking about, and they want a relationship where with their partner, they become the best version of themselves. And it's an identity project. And that is a big shift. That sense that you're going to find a soulmate who is going to really help you, transcend the limitations of your selfhood and become this idealized version of you. That is a very new script for marriage.
Okay, so I want to talk about your relationship podcast. Where should we begin? Lots of people love it. You basically conduct a counseling session with a real couple. I don't know about anyone else, but I tend to nod furiously when you're pointing out the fault of one of them. I really don't think that I'm the only one who does that while listening to your podcast. But how much are these episodes about trying to get people to understand their own role in a conflict?
But do you ever listen to the podcast and hear me talk to somebody and say, this is what I do?
No, of course not.
Well done. I think that it's both ends. You need to be able to say, to the partner, you do that or we do that. And then also to be able to say, I recognize myself in this as well. I think that what the podcast offers is that as you listen very deeply to these very intimate conversations between two people, you actually see yourself. And you become also sometimes hopeful for yourself that you too could change the conversation. And that you too could get unstuck, and that you too could experience a kind of intimacy and truth that you hear and that is so captivating amongst the other people. It's part of why I do it as well. It is almost like a public health campaign for relationships.
So, Esther, what can we expect from your tour? I'm imagining that maybe you might pull an unsuspecting couple up on stage. You might be conducting a live counseling session with them. I don't know. Should my husband and I come with prepared grievance notes?
I am going to be creating a communal experience with the audience where we come together to ask ourselves some of the difficult questions that pertain to modern relationships and modern love. I will explore together with the audience how we got there, what has changed, what are our big challenges, what is the influence of technology, what does it mean to be lonely today, what is the role of sexuality in our relationships, what do we do with our expectations of modern love. And I will obviously be playing pieces from the podcast to illustrate. And I probably will do a bunch of interactive stuff because that's what I like to do. And the rest will be a big surprise for you and all the people who join you.
Esther Perel, it's lovely talking to you. Thank you so much. We can't wait to see you in Australia.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.